Greetings out there in YouTube land. This is Morris, man. As always, I thank you guys for coming to my channel. I guess I'm going to entitle this video, Perhaps Missing Joe. And for those who don't know who Joe is, Joe was a dear good friend of mine. He passed away in November about 2020. And I looked at Joe, and my cat wanted to leave. Goodbye, buddy. Go on. Get the fuck out of here. Get out of here. Cat just sitting there. I'm like, you got to make a move. What you going to do here? Still just stacked like a statue. I try to let her out sometimes, and I crack the door open. I'm like, you got to get out of here and you're going because you're going to let the flies up in here. Just sitting there. Decided. I'm like, I ain't got time for this. You know, either you're going to go or you're going to go back and sit down. But sorry for that interruption. And like I said, Joe was a dear good friend of mine. He passed away in November 2020. And Joe was like a dad to me. Because I lost my father when I was really young. And Joe kind of filled that void. You know, because when we used to do those movies, and it was several scenes, because he did the majority of the movies with me. He co-starred in them. And he always played my father. You know, and it felt good to say those words, Dad. You know, I miss saying that. And I do this video to keep his memory alive because you don't never want to forget the people that touch your life in a positive way. You know, and just because they dead, you just don't write them off and never speak of them again and never think about them. Because I think about my mother and Joe quite frequently. And when you get a certain age, you start to really value life. I mean, all my life I value life, but I'm like, at this stage, you really value it because at some point in time, it's going to be over, you know? And most of us don't want to talk about that. I don't. But I'm like, you know, we can't ignore it because it's going to happen with or without your consent, you know? So you always want to make sure throughout your life, and even more so when you get older, that, well, I'm going to say this. Before I leave here, I want everything clean. You know, I don't want to have any issues with anybody. And, you know, we never did get that right. And, you know, I left here salty with him, or he left here salty with me. And I'm like, every day should be cherished, especially as you get older, because at some point in your life, you don't have any more days. You done ran out. You know, and you don't want to get to that point and you haven't got things squared away and straightened. Because I know everybody's different. There's some people that can hold a grudge until they die and leave here. And there are other people like myself, it's like, I don't want to feel that way. I don't want to feel that somewhere on this planet there's some people that don't get along with me, or I have to, you know, we have to come to some type of agreement and squash this nonsense. You know, because I do have some people in my life, for years, it's been that nonsense. I'm like, it's not on me. It's on them, because I've made my peace with them and they will not come forth and try to make peace with me. And I'm like, I don't want it to be that way, but if it is, it is, because there's ain't shit I can do about that. Nothing at all. You know, I made my contribution, and your contribution is needed to fix this, to build this bridge. You know, but there's some people, and it's so unfortunate because, like I said, I don't want to live here with that still there. I'm like, the last part of your life should be filled with a lot of joy and enjoyment. You know, you enjoying the rest of what's left. It's different when you're 20. It's like, I got 10 years to blow. And you usually do. When you're young, it's like, I got time. And you do have time. But when you get past 50, it's like, you ain't got that much time no more. So you need to fix this. You need to get this resolved. You know, and any decent human being would want that to be. But there's some people that they don't. And ain't nothing you can do about that but pray for them people. Because it's like, it ain't me, it's you. You know, but tell people that you love them. You know, don't take tomorrow for granted, because you might not be here. You know, you don't want your last memories or their last memories of you being salty. You know, it's like, no, let's fix this. You know, we can get past this. Some things you can't, perhaps, but for the most part, you can get past it. It's like, just sit down and talk. You know, I've always, and that's why me and my wife have a great relationship, because I don't think we've ever argued a day in our lives. And I've known my wife since I was, 15. We went to high school together, you know, and we reconnected years later, you know. So, and that's because we talk. You know, I'm like, let's sit down and talk, you know, before this get out of control, or misconceptions of what this is, here, pull up a seat. Let's talk. Because I seen this sign at this fast food place. This had to have been at least 10 years ago, and it was funny. Because they give you the top phrase that you've heard before, then it adds to that, or it answers that. And it says, never go to bed angry. Stay up and fight. I was like, that's funny, and I like that, And that's the truth. Stay up and work it out. But I'm going to share this story because it kind of ties in with, just try to make things right. When I was growing up, I had some guys that I hung out with. And we were good friends, And whatever one guy didn't have, we all pitched in to help him. Because that was during the time that we first started to go to clubs, nightclubs. Real, not the basement parties of the high school sets, the real deal. We grown men now. We mature, we can do this. Quite excited about that. And most of us had jobs, and decent jobs for that stage in our lives, And there was always this one guy, and he's one of my dearest friends. Never have any money, didn't have a job. So it's like, not a big deal, man, we got you. So we sponsor him in the club, buy him drinks. And this went on for about a year. He finally got him a job. It's like, cool. And I'll never forget this. It was a Friday. It was the day of his first paycheck. And we would all get together on Fridays, and Saturdays and party. He went missing. And first we was kind of concerned, like, where is he? Because, Friday is the night and we all get together. We have not veered away from that ritual for the longest. So we was initially kind of concerned, like, did he get hit on the way home from work, or is he in the hospital? And then it dawned on me. I'm like, he got paid today. He don't want to pay our money back. All those months of sponsoring him, buying him drinks, getting up in the club. Now he got money in his pocket. He don't want to share it. Like, ain't that a bitch? And it took me a moment to kind of figure it out because I didn't want to believe it. And the other guys didn't want to believe it neither. But it's like, yeah, it's true. He got paid and he's hiding. He don't want to give us our money back. And it's interesting because we didn't want our money back. It's like, man, that key. Our concern was, okay, now that you got money, we ain't gonna be paying your way no more. No more drinks, no more free getting in. And he didn't want that to end. That was the thing. It wasn't the concern about, we got to pay all that money back. No, because we didn't want the money back. But moving forward, you got to pay your way, dude. And he didn't want to. That's why he disappeared on us. I'm like, man, that's fucked up. That's fucked up. Because that ain't how you treat your boys. Well, they ain't gonna be paying my way now since they know I'm working and I don't want to spend my money. Well, you sit the fuck home then. Enjoy Love Boat. Because that was the show I used to love. I'm like, no, dude, I ain't partying tonight. I want to watch Love Boat, But it's just interesting, the journey of life and the things that you see throughout your lifetime. Because I don't claim to be perfect. I've made mistakes in my life. But I try to be very conscious of what I do in my actions. And I ask myself, I give myself a self check. Is this the right thing to do? Yep. Or is this the right thing to do? Probably not. So let's try to fix this, But no two people are the same. But you do expect people to be right regardless if it's another person. It ain't you. You expect that from people. But there's some people that are just selfish and they don't want to deliver that. And that's why we live in the kind of world we live in now. As you get older, and we all going to experience this, unless we leave here prematurely, that you're going to see some serious changes in life before you leave here. I'm at the point now where it's almost unrecognizable from what it was 30 years ago. I went to go get my car from my mechanic. He's down the street, so I walked down there. And as I walked down there, I just noticed all this traffic. It's like, where are these people going? What are they doing? Just out and about. And I got a real good recall memory as far as I notice things that most people don't. I'm out there cutting my grass, and I see a car drive past. I look at it. I know what kind of car it is, the color, the make. 3 minutes later, see the same car going another direction. So I'm like, they just driving around. They're not going out somewhere productive. They're just driving around. They got nothing to do. And as a youngster, I don't really recall that much of that. It's like, we leaving here because we got something to do, and then we'll be back later. Still, I'm just circling around, driving around, got nothing to do. I'm just going to be driving my car. And ain't nothing wrong with that. You're not hurting anybody, so, you got the right. But as I'm going to my mechanic, this car pulling in front of me because I stopped and it pulled past. And as I was walking past, I could hear the lady in the car. And this wasn't addressed to me. She was talking to either somebody in the car or on the phone, just cursing, real belligerent. I'm like, what happened to the very feminine, respectful young woman or girl or woman? I mean, she sounded like a bar or rat, a nightclub rat. Just like you're out in public and you're being real disrespectful. That doesn't make you look good. And I kid you not, the car drove past, I crossed the street, then I got about half of a block. I was near this gas station at that point, half of a block the distance. And I kid you not, a car pull up, and then it kind of just sat there in the lot. Because that's the new thing, people just want to linger, still get to their destination, get the fuck out, handle their business, and go home. They still just sitting in the car, ain't moving, you going, leave already. What are you going to do? So I got near the car, and a lady got on the driver's side, because apparently it was a man that was driving. And the lady cursing her ass off. Motherfucker, and I was like, man, what kind of world is this now? 20 years ago, that would have never happened. And I'm not an old man stuck in the old ways. I'm like, right is right and wrong is wrong, whether it's 1999 or 2099, That's the point I'm making. It ain't again, well, it used to be like this. It should still be like this. Some things shouldn't change. I know things change, finance change, the economy changes, the environment changes, but being respectful should never change. That should never go out of style. Nothing should replace that. Instead of within 3-minute walking distance space, these two women just going at it. I mean, just loud, and the expletives are just flying. I know sometimes I use profanity in my videos, but that's to make a point. My whole video is not going to be laced with all this MFs and F-blah, none of that stuff. But man's is out of frustration, and perhaps theirs is too, but it's like there's a proper place to express that. Not in public where everybody can hear you. Because first of all, nobody should hear your personal business in the first place, okay? You have that discussion in the house. You wait till you get home to have that discussion. Instead of you out in public, you cursing, you being belligerent. That's not a good look for you. It's not a good look. And it says about you that your parents didn't do their job. Because my motto is when people say, man, you're a really nice guy. I'm like, Mama did a good job. Mama did a good job. Instead of you are a representation of your parents and you don't do a good job of showing that because of most likely they didn't do a good job of teaching you. So it's just a reflection. It's like, okay, I see why they that way, because you go home and you check the parents and they ain't too far from them. But it's just interesting. And I'm just going to end this by saying this. I miss you, Joe. Hopefully one day we'll see each other again. I enjoyed your friendship. I enjoyed your nurturing, teaching me, because you always want to listen to your elders. When they talk, you listen. Because they've been there, done that. And there's some people that they don't understand that. I had a discussion with my daughter, and my daughter's a selfish person. I love her to death, but it's the truth. It's like, you can't just think about you. What about everybody else? Don't their feelings matter? Don't their situation matter? Don't hear from you until you need something. And our last conversation so far has been our last one. It's December. I'm just sharing this personal information. And I told you what I told you because I care about you. I've been there. I've done that. So I'm telling you what you need to do to avoid running to a wall, because I've been there. I've seen this movie before. I know how it ends. So just trust me instead of, I know what I'm doing. Okay? I hope that you know what you're doing too. I love you, and I'll give you all the encouragement in the world. But when it ain't right, it ain't right. And nothing changes that until you change it. That. It stays the way it is until you fix it. So life is a journey, and consists of a lot of experiences through your life, and you hope you can get through them in one piece. So until next time, take care and thanks for watching.